Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to go over my AEW Dynamite review. Starting off the evening, we go into our first match of the night. It is Matt Jackson versus Rey Fenix. Before I even get started in this match, man, to me honestly, Rey Fenix is the best luchador in the world, hands down. Like there's nobody out there right now that can even hold a candle to what this guy's doing in the ring right now. No shot. Secondly, one of the biggest spots in this match to me was Matt Jackson hitting that devastating Canadian Destroyer on the outside on Rey Fenix, man. Absolutely brutal. But Phoenix ends up hitting the finish on Matt Jackson, pins him for the 3, and your winners of the match, or winner of the match, is Rey Fenix. All this match was doing was setting up the storyline between the Young Bucks and Rey Fenix and Pac. That's all it was doing. Obviously, Rey Fenix had won the Tag Team Battle Royal at Revolution, which grants him and Pac an opportunity at the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This match itself, man, it was a really good match. It was a great match, man. The sequence that Matt Jackson had with Rey Fenix and those super kicks, and then Matt hitting the super kick on Rey Fenix, and Rey Fenix getting right back up and then hitting Matt, man, it was just awesome. Absolutely awesome, man. Hats off to Rey Fenix for getting the win in this match. After that, we go into an Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley segment. Eddie Kingston and Moxley pretty much both talking about Revolution. They both pretty much mock Omega and Gallows and Anderson and that weak explosion that happened at Revolution, man. I'm not even gonna go on another tangent about that explosion, man. I thought it was absolute trash. Very weak, man. The whole sparklers and stuff like that. I was kind of hoping we would see something with that explosion, kind of something that we used to see back in FMW, like in the Onita matches and like Hayabusa. Like we didn't even get nothing even close to that. So I thought the segment between Kingston and Moxley was really good. I'm kind of looking forward to see what they're going to do next between Moxley and Kingston. So it was a great segment. After that, we go into our next match on the card as well. It is Cody Rhodes versus Seth Gargis. This was a really fast-paced match, man. Really quick, kind of a squash match. Like I said, it was a quick match. Cody ends up applying a figure-4 leg lock on Seth Gargis. Gargis ends up tapping out, and your winner of the match is Cody Rhodes. After that, Cody has an interview with Tony Schiavone. Before Cody gets anything out, man, Pentagon ends up interrupting Cody. Pentagon says that he's better wrestler than Cody Rhodes is. Pretty much mocks Cody. He made that smart remark against Cody about, obviously Cody and Brandy are expecting a baby. I believe it's a baby girl, to be honest with you. And Pentagon said that, obviously Cody got injured in that match. He said if Pentagon would have got a chance to grab his arm, he would have broke it and would have had an opportunity to pick up his newborn baby. And then Cody rushes out of the ring, rushes up to Pentagon. A all-out fight breaks out in the crowd. Just brutal stuff, man. To be 100% honest, I don't know where they were kind of going with this whole storyline between Pentagon and Cody. I really didn't see it happening, to be honest with you. And not only that, right now I don't even see a point why they're even having this storyline between Pentagon and Cody. To me, it was something. I thought something was going to happen with Cody in this match, where they were going to kind of write Cody off. Where obviously Brandy being pregnant, I know eventually he's going to probably have time off, and wants to spend time obviously with him being a dad and being around Brandy. So when this latter match happened at Revolution, I thought it was going to be something where I knew he was injured, and they were going to kind of write him off TV for a little bit, so he can stay at home with Brandy. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen between Pentagon and Cody, but I'm not crossing my fingers. I have no idea where they're going to go with this whole Cody Rhodes and Pentagon thing. But hats off to Cody for getting the win in that match. After that, Tony Schiavone is interviewing Sting. Sting talks about his match at Revolution and what I thought personally was the match of the night. He's one of those guys that kind of take his life in his own hands as far as his in-ring career goes. Very talented guy. And Darby Allin is, man. Darby Allin is on a whole other level as far as being a superstar, man. And not only that, Tony Khan had commented about that street fight, and that Darby Allin had a lot of input and a lot of the creative ideas for that match, man. And it goes to show, if he created something like that, who knows what else he can do and create matches like that, man. That match was absolutely awesome. And honestly, it was one of seeing Sting in that match. It was like seeing the old Sting. And Sting got he got beat up pretty bad in that match. He really did, and he held his own. He held his own. But that one spot where Darby Allin jumps off that balcony onto Brian Cage with that coffin drop or whatever, man, absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. But within the interview, though, Lance Archer comes out with Jake Roberts, kind of interrupts Sting. Lance Archer looks like he still wants to be the top guy, the top draw for AEW. Archer and Jake Roberts walk to the back. Sting was, Tony was trying to get another interview with, or continue the interview with Sting. Sting said that was all he had to say and just walked back to the back. So I don't know if we're going to get like a little bit of a match or a storyline in the near future between Sting and Lance Archer. In my honest opinion, I kind of hope we don't see it. Lance Archer, that if you guys haven't seen that guy is a freaking unit. And compared to Sting, I mean, that would be a brutal matchup for Sting, to be honest with you. But I am looking forward to what's going to happen with Sting next and how they're going to book Sting in the future, man. If you're going to book Sting in AEW, like I told you guys before, I mean, you had to do it like the way you did that street fight. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. After that, we go into our next match on the card as well. It is Ethan Page making his AEW Dynamite debut versus Lee Johnson. This was a decent match, man. It wasn't that bad. A couple of things I will take away from this match is that Lee Johnson, and what I mean by that is I feel like there's a very high ceiling for Lee Johnson, man. I feel like he's one of those guys that's an up-and-coming talent, very young, still learning his craft inside that square circle. You know, he's obviously working with the Nightmare family, working with the likes of Arn Anderson, Cody, Dustin, QT Marshall. I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy, and I think he could be a top competitor for AEW in the near future, man. The ceiling is very high, in my honest opinion, for Lee Johnson. The other thing, too, one of the negative things I'll take away from this match is I don't know if it was like Ethan Page's whole gimmick, but throughout this entire match, and maybe it was just from my end when I was watching last night, but throughout that entire match, I heard like a basketball buzzer go off, different kinds of music going off, and I'm like, what is this? And if that's really how they're going to have Ethan Page wrestle in AEW, man, I think it's trash. You know what I mean? He's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong, he's really good, but that whole background noise, I'm not with it, man. I think it's complete garbage. But Ethan Page ends up hitting the Ego's Edge on Johnson, pins him for the 3, and your winner of the match is Ethan Page. It was a good showing. Like I said, it was a decent match, and kind of highlighted what Ethan Page possibly could do to better himself in AEW, and what other matches that might present himself, and what he'll give the fans. So, hats off to Ethan Page for getting the win in this match. After that, we have another interview with Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone is supposed to be interviewing Christian Cage, but that wasn't what happened initially. Initially, Omega came out to the interview with Gallows and Anderson and Don Callis. Don Callis comes out pretty much calling Kenny Omega the king of the death match, which honestly I started like laughing hysterically about that, because we all know how bad that that exploding death match ended. It was horrible. They pretty much mock Eddie Kingston. Kingston comes out down to the ring. Again, Omega's mocking Eddie Kingston. Moxley ends up showing up as well. Kingston and Moxley end up just destroying Anderson and Gallows, man. Which, again, I'll get more into that towards the end of the podcast of what's going to happen with those 4 guys. Christian Cage ends up showing up. Christian Cage tries to hit an unprettier on Kenny Omega. Don Callis ends up pulling Omega out of the ring. They all escape up to the ramp. Cage then holds up the AEW Championship, I guess to kind of symbolize that he's the next person that wants to challenge Kenny Omega. Man, in my honest opinion, there is no way you're going to tell me that Christian Cage deserves a title shot against Omega right now. There's no way. There's no way. Let me ask you this. What in the hell has Christian done to even give himself a title shot, man? That's one thing I hate about these legends, man. You have people on that roster right now that are grinding, man, that are trying to get to the top of the rankings to have an opportunity to challenge Omega for that AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And then Cage comes in. It's like, oh, we might possibly give him a title shot. For what? Christian came back for the Royal Rumble not too long ago, right around January. And then he had that, a little bit of that match, I guess, if you will, in Royal Rumble, and that was it. Before that, when was the last time we seen Christian in a wrestling capacity wrestling on the regular basis? It's been a long time, man. Very long time. So now all of a sudden Tony Khan, everybody might possibly give him a title shot. Why? At best, Christian is a mid-carder. I'm sorry, man. If you're telling me, you can't even tell me that Christian is better than Edge. There's no shot. No shot. Yeah, if you look at Edge's singles run compared to Christian, no way. Edge was the better person to pay off in that singles run than Christian did. What the hell did Christian even do? Nothing. He had that little storyline, I think it was like, 2000, maybe 2009, I want to say, maybe, that he had that little beef with Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship, the all-gold one. That was the last thing he was known to be doing. His Impact run was garbage. I'm sorry, man, but, you can't, there's no shot. There's no shot. That's what I don't understand with this whole, he's the major signing of AEW. Why? When he showed up on Revolution, man, he was out there for 90 seconds, didn't say nothing. Nothing. Walked to the ring, signed his contract, walked out. What's the point, man? And then you're going to come out and then you're going to, I guess, hold up the belt as if you're going to challenge Kenny Omega for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I'm telling y'all right now, if they book that match and they have Christian go over to beat Omega for that championship, man, that's a bad look, bro. That's a bad look. That's me being real, man. That you might as well chalk it up at that point. Seriously. If you have Christian come in who hasn't done a damn thing in I don't know how long and then beat Omega for that AEW World Heavyweight Championship like it ain't nothing, you might as well chalk it up. Something's wrong with that picture. I'm sorry. Something's definitely wrong with that picture. But all in all, this was a good interview, a little bit, a decent segment between all these guys. But man, who knows what's going to happen with Christian and Kenny Omega? I hope, in my honest opinion, I hope they don't book it. I hope they don't. There's no reason for it. There's no reason to book this match. No shot. No shot. But moving on from that, we go into our next match on the card as well. It is Nyla Rose and Britt Baker and Maki Ito versus Thunder Rosa, Shida, and Ryo Mizunami. Other things I'll take away from this match too, man. Maki Ito. Like I said, man, I don't know where this woman came from. I'm assuming she's a big name in Japan. Big name in Japan. And the AEW fans gravitate towards her, man. I'm not knocking this woman for her talent. But the one thing that annoyed me is that she spent more time singing her entrance, than she was wrestling. Nyla, Rose, Shida, and Mizunami, they end up attacking Rose, Baker, and Ito. Rosa ends up hitting the finish on Ito, pins her for the 3. And your winners of the match are Thunder Rosa, Shida, and Ryo Mizunami. But after the match, though, Baker does quickly apply a lockjaw on Thunder Rosa. And then the match is over. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying the match was bad. But you guys know how I feel about the AEW Women's Division. There needs to be more talent. Obviously, Chris Statlander being hurt, she's out. I think she's a top name as well in that division. You got Big Swole, you got Britt Baker. There needs to be more names, man. Like I told you guys before, in that women's tournament, there should have been Impact women talent in that tournament. If you guys are working together, and Impact's working with AEW and vice versa, why couldn't we have the names like Jordan Grace, Rosemary, Deonna Purrazzo, Sue Young, I believe her name is, Havoc. You have ODB. Put her in there. Like, why can we get some Impact women talent on that roster? Even Taya Valkyrie when she was there. Even though now she's no longer there and she's literally at the Performance Center in NXT. Why couldn't we have them? I mean, I'm not knocking the talent that was in that tournament. That's not what I'm saying. But AEW's women's roster already is lacking. Why not add a couple notable names from Impact Wrestling to make it more interesting? You know what I mean? Obviously, they had the USA side and the Japanese side. You could have put them in the Impact talent on the USA side. I wouldn't even mind a Jordan Grace versus Mizunami match. Or even better, you give me Jordan Grace versus Nyla Rose. Not a bad match either. You know what I mean? You could have Jordan Grace versus Thunder Rosa. Sign me up. Sign me up. But we didn't have that. And it looks like after that happened with that the lockjaw, next week looks like it's going to be Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa in a lights out, no disqualification match next week, from what I understand. So I am very much looking forward to that. That is a rivalry that's been going on in AEW for quite a while since Thunder Rosa made her, I guess, debut, if you will, in AEW. So I'm definitely looking forward to it, having the wheels come off a little bit between those two ladies in this match. Man, I think they're going to tear the house down. At least I'm hoping they are. So hats off to Thunder Rosa, Shida, and Ryo Mizunami for getting the win in this match. After that, we have a segment backstage with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's talking to Private Party. Matt Hardy says that he has signed a new team, if you will, to his little stable. He ended up signing Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny. And Matt Hardy said that they will have a match on AEW's new show on Mondays, AEW Elevation, which I will be watching that event on Monday. I will be doing a review for you guys about that show. I mean, I think AEW Elevation is going to be really good. I really do, man. For the stuff they're doing on AEW Dark, having AEW Elevation, the one thing I am looking forward to, in my honest opinion, is Tony Schiavone and Paul White's commentary. That's going to be very interesting to see the Big Show, if you will, on commentary. And the talent, man. A lot of this is going to be all about independent talent that are trying to come up and, get a little bit of the spotlight, man. I'm sure there's a lot of independent talent out there that are really, really good. Really good. That are not getting, the the spotlight they deserve, man, the notoriety of what they're doing, how good, they are in their craft, how good they are in that squared circle. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You know, I think it's going to be a great show, man. I am definitely looking forward to it. After that, we go into our next match on the card. It is Darby Allin defending his AEW TNT Championship against Scorpio Sky. This was a really good match, man. A couple of things I took away from this match as well. Allin looked like he has injured his leg in this match from Scorpio Sky, but I feel like that leg injury stemmed from the street fight that he had at Revolution with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. One of the crazy spots in this match was that Allin going for that coffin drop on the top rope, but Sky ends up hitting a power bomb on Allin instead. Allin ends up hitting a roll up on Sky in the middle of the ring, pins him for the 3, and your winner of the match and still TNT champion is Darby Allin. After the match, though, Scorpio Sky quickly applies a heel hook on Allin. Referees try to break it up. Eventually, Sky lets him go. But the one thing I will say about Scorpio Sky was after he let go of that heel hook, it was just like a sinister look on Sky, man. He was looking at his hands. It was like a whole different Scorpio Sky, man. I think he's going to be a great heel, to be honest with you. And you know what, man? He's a great talent, too. I hope he gets more opportunities on Dynamite. I really do. I think he's a great talent, man. He's a great athlete. And you can book him in a lot of matches. And plus, honestly, I feel like he still has some unfinished business with Shawn Spears, which I would love to see another match between those two guys, man, because they could tear the house down. So hats off to Darby Allin for getting the win in this match. After that, we go into, I guess, the main event, if you will, of the show. It is the Inner Circle War Council. The entire Inner Circle's in the ring. Jericho hints at a new member possibly coming to Inner Circle. MJF said he doesn't want nobody else in the Inner Circle, that he thinks someone actually should be gone from the Inner Circle. Next thing you know, Sammy Guevara's music hits. Crowd erupts when Guevara comes out. I think it was like 2 weeks since we've seen Sammy Guevara. Guevara shows a video package to Jericho. It shows MJF talking to Santana and Ortiz and Jake Hager, pretty much stating that they want Jericho out of the Inner Circle, that it's time to cut the head off the snake, if you will, and they want him out. So after that, initially I thought that Inner Circle was going to, pretty much take care of Jericho and take him out of the Inner Circle, but that was not the situation. Inner Circle ended up turning on MJF. Jericho then fires MJF from the Inner Circle. And MJF is pretty much at the bottom of the turnbuckle crying, thinking that, Jericho and Inner Circle were going to beat him up. Next thing you know, the lights go out. Well, before the lights go out, MJF says he has a new team. The lights go out. Lights come back on. Then we see Wardlow, Shawn Spears, and FTR, and Tully Blanchard in the ring. Wardlow and Spears and FTR, they just destroy the Inner Circle, man, in that ring. Wardlow ends up hitting a power bomb off the top of the ramp on Jericho, through a table down below. Just a brutal spot, man. And in my honest opinion, I've stated this in the past, I feel like this is the 4 horsemen right here. You have MJF, Shawn Spears, FTR. There's your 4 right there. You can have Wardlow as the muscle, and you have Tully Blanchard as the manager. Absolutely, man. And people have to remember, I mean, there's fans out there that know that the 4 horsemen are a heel stable. A hell of a, they are the stable in professional wrestling. There's no other question about it. That will always be the stable, is the 4 horsemen. If you're a part of that 4 horsemen, you're always going to be a horseman no matter what. You know what I mean? No matter what. The original horsemen, Arn, Tully, Flair, Barry Windham, having J.J. Dillon there, you know what I mean? It was a phenomenal stable, man. Great stable. I was a big fan of Arn Anderson myself, man. I thought the Enforcer was awesome. That was a great stable. Great stable. And if we're going to get a little bit of that in AEW, man, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Some people might not be for it. Might be against it, saying there's too many damn stables in AEW. I don't see it. I don't. Now, credit, you had the Dark Order. Originally you had the Elite. There's no more Elite. I guess you had the Bullet Club, if you will, with Omega, Gallows, and Anderson. That's about it. Jurassic Express, but it's more or less a tag team, and you have Marco Stunt as well. So, I mean, I don't see it, man. I think the 4 Horsemen would be great on TNT again. AEW, yeah, I'm all for it, man. Absolutely all for it. But I'm going to have, in my honest opinion, man, I think this was a decent show. It wasn't that bad. It was honestly a lot of recap of what happened, obviously, at Revolution. And obviously we're getting more news and stuff coming out. Obviously, it looks like possibly the 4 Horsemen are now in AEW. The only thing I was hoping for, man, is that all those guys would hold up those 4 fingers, symbolizing the 4 Horsemen. That was the only thing I was hoping for when this happened. But I think it's absolutely awesome. The way I would book the Inner Circle, if you're going to call them the 4 Horsemen, man, you put them in a cage match, man. You get like a War Games kind of atmosphere, man. You have one side, you got the Inner Circle. The other side, you got, I guess, the 4 Horsemen. And you just let them have a match, man. You build that storyline up, build it, and then you put them in a cage match. Brutal, man. Absolutely. Take my money. It would be an awesome match. But this is my AEW Dynamite review. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful, and remember, stay classic. Peace.